Across the endless void of space, Planet Hex looms ever closer. On a collision course with Earth, no one believes that they're about to die. Except for a crew that have set out to save humanity from the very end. It's a daring plan, one that involves redirecting Pluto in the direction of Nibiru. If they succeed, they'll save everyone. But if they fail, well, there's a reason why this game is called Our Last Best Hope. This is episode 2 of our 4-part story, but it's also the start of Act 1 and our last best hope. To survive this calamity, they are the Terrible Warriors. Welcome back to the Terrible Warriors. I am your captain on this mission for our last best hope to save humanity. We have discovered that in November, a planet is going to crash into the Earth, a rogue planet from outside our solar system that we dubbed Nibiru or Planet X, and we're the only ones who knew the truth, and so we formed together this team of state-of-the-art scientists and engineers and AI psychologists and me, the one who built this home, and now we are en route to Pluto to slingshot it into Nibiru to knock it out of Earth's path. Because this was the best plan we could come up with. It's the only plan we have, and it's humanity's last best hope to save everything. So, I am Justin Ecock here, running this game, sort of. Teaching this game is more accurate for these players because there's no GM. We're all working in this together. And around the table, I have my crackshot team of experts who are on this ship heading to Pluto. On my left, your right, we have
Joshua Barbeau playing the engineer Jim Grimshaw and his dog Bones.
This is Adam Luker, and I'll be playing Tracy Trickshot Schuler, who is the resident scientist and physicist on the crew.
Brent Morris from the Showhole Podcast playing software engineer Newton Crane.
Bree Poisonne playing Dr. Ariel Sims. We're playing hot mics here. Good times.
And I'm Maurice Arrington, the one who
Captain
built this conspiracy ship.
Bring that title.
A few decades ago, and then was co-opted by the world government to save the reality of the lizards.
No, I was gonna say it's okay. The world government's all run by the lizard people who live in the Hollow Earth anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, well, they know the Hollow Earth
inevitable.
is gonna get just as messed up when Nibiru crashes in as everywhere else on Earth. Mm-hmm.
Really, they're just trying to silence you. That's what you're sure that's what this is all about.
In fact, this plan, even if it works, Nibiru will no longer crash with planet Earth, but it will still go by that the people on the surface might still die.
We start this episode now 7 years into our journey as we're approaching towards Pluto. We're getting close to finally executing this plan of ours, and I bring everyone together into our kitchen table / briefing room where we've all been living on this ship all by ourselves for all this time. It's been a while.
This is where the pool table is?
This is where
we've got to have one on board.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. We got a pool table. I would think
I wanted it in my bedroom, but they're like, well, maybe it's not just for you, eh?
you actually have set up a series of tables and area you play
multiple tables.
You'll play pool on any surface, and so you've been doing this trick shot
because he's practicing.
You've been preparing this trick shot through the entire corridor of the whole ship.
Got it.
You're just playing pool the Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah. So I bring it all together though because Mimic has new information for us. And unfortunately, we're now faced with a choice. Mimic has discovered, running through new numbers and models, the last plan, the one that failed, where they were going to take heavy bodies from the asteroid belt, like Ceres and others, and create a daisy chain breadcrumbs to try and lure Nibiru away. It did alter
Pac-Man.
It did alter its trajectory a bit, fortunately, it sped it up. We knew that, but the new models are actually projecting now when it is time for us to arrive at Pluto and grab Charon and move its orbit around Pluto, creating the tidal forces to slingshot Pluto off into Nibiru. It will now... Neptune is in the way. And it's that period where Pluto's on the outside of Neptune and Neptune's on the inside of Pluto. And the plan, as we have it, is no longer valid. And we need to come up with a strategy to use the materials in the machine that we have. Because if we just go through with this shot, this trick shot now needs a little bit of a side spin. Because as it is, we're just going to plunge it right into a gas giant. The gravity well of Neptune is going to get in the way of our ability to get it to Nibiru in the angle that it's now moving.
Can we hop Pluto the way you would over Neptune so that it hits the one behind it?
I've been working 7 years on this shot, okay? I mean, I don't know if I can handle this thing's changing now. I'll give it a go. I mean, that's what champions do, but...
Well, in order... Well,
Look, first, why don't you take a shot of this whiskey and then we'll think about it.
if we were to send Charon and Pluto up, we could then try and do a second shot above the planetary plane and then back down again.
Do we have time for that?
We're proposing shoving Pluto one direction, catching up with it, so that we can shove it a different direction.
We'll go with it.
Oh, we'll go with it.
We'll be along for the ride. We hitch a ride.
So not just the balls are moving, but the table's moving too.
Well, I mean, Pluto kind of hitches a ride on us, though, because we're catching it in our gravity well. Like, that's how that's working.
We're using Charon
I want to get the
as the cue
science
ball.
real serious here.
We're using Charon as our cue ball. We're the stick.
Oh,
and we're moving Charon into Pluto to then bounce it off.
Okay.
Right? And because we don't have enough gravity to manipulate Pluto.
We have
But
enough
now
gravity
Neptune's
to
in
manipulate
the way.
Charon. Okay.
And Pluto has enough gravity to manipulate Nibiru.
Okay.
Right? So it's all about like building it up.
Right.
I just want to make sure we've all got
So-
this really
Yes.
serious science, real
Hard
straight-
science.
What is the choice? The choice is to either try to come up with a new trick shot for Pluto or what?
I mean, there's also a lot of Kuiper Belt objects. Maybe there's a Rube Goldberg machine through the whole Kuiper Belt that would then... But at that point, those aren't mapped out.
No, that's so much
But
variation.
you're the scientists. You're the engineers. I'm
Yeah.
just telling you what Mimic is saying. Neptune's in the way.
Can we get Neptune out of the way so that Plan A still works?
I don't know. I mean, if we can only move Charon, I don't think we can move Neptune.
I was thinking if we can move Pluto twice, we can get that curved shot around. But I don't know pool. All I know is darts.
See, we don't really have anything to bank on up
Throw a
here.
dart at the wall.
What if we used some other gravity well to, pull it down, give it a nice curve?
Do you think we've got a second gravity well of some kind?
Well, I mean, we got the mass driving the ship.
Can we 3D print a gravity well?
Wait, that's not a bad idea. we have this graviton device, and we have a 3D printer. If we had two graviton devices,
But we need the materials of the first graviton
we can
device
3D print them
to make a second 3D.
to make a
What if-
second graviton.
we don't have
Hold on,
super
guys.
dense
Can we
material.
Hold on,
convert a
guys.
dog
Using
to a
using
No,
Look, if I
idea
make
crossed
a
my
chimera,
mind.
if I make a chimera, a 3D printer, and a dog,
Wait.
I'm the doctor here, Dan.
The graviton device uses a special material as fuel, which we've not described because that's redacted. But it uses special material as fuel. Perhaps if we could build another graviton device, just the hollowed out shell, I could juggle the calculations and split the fuel up to fuel both of them. I mean, we can't reprint fuel.
I just thought the graviton
But-
device was just made of like a giant wrecking ball of
It
dark
basically
matter.
is.
So
It basically is.
Well, I mean, our other option here is we've got all these other big rocks that were brought out on the first mission. Maybe we can use those as a source of gravity.
Yeah, we could
Give us a boost.
slingshot it off off Planet X's new moons.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that adds up.
I mean, that certainly complicates your calculations.
Slingshot.
Tracy.
Yeah, again, it's all about practice, right?
Can-
And the feel.
Can we just sling? If it has to pass Neptune, what if we shoot Pluto in a slightly different direction, then use Neptune's gravity well to give it more force and curve the shot?
Yeah.
Right? Kind
Yeah.
of like how they slingshot
Slingshot Pluto around Neptune.
around
Yeah,
Neptune
yeah.
into Nibiru, just like way harder.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you got it.
okay,
That's-
what do
that's
you
our-
you need to do to set up this new shot?
We're going to have to get on the other side of Pluto and knock it into into Neptune's orbit then.
So we're
and use slingshotting around
around
Neptune.
So we
Charon.
So we need to calculate a new trick shot that
Yep.
uses Neptune to slingshot Pluto.
Yep. After it's been slingshotted by Charon, by us.
We might even get a gravity assist though that makes Pluto even faster. We might even.
It's way faster.
We might save the Earth ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're here for,
That's gonna
right?
be great for our ratings.
Drinks on everyone.
Ratings. I thought this was supposed to be a secret for now.
Well, yeah, but Mimic's recording everything for the documentary.
Oh yeah, I'm cool with that as long as it comes out after.
It's
Once
recording
we've saved, once we've saved
You
Earth,
signed
then
the
we-
release form when you came on board.
Yes, I did.
So that resolves our complication at the beginning of Act 1. We've now got a new alternate plan around Neptune. You're going to have to get...
Yeah, I'll get started.
You're going to get the new numbers crunched. We still have, some time before we arrive at Pluto, and that... The event pool will determine as we get closer when we get to the 15 dice. We're at 5, so as 10 more dice are going to get added, then we go into the shot.
So
the
they miscalculated in the first place. That's why Neptune wasn't where we expected it to be.
The models were based on Neptune and Nibiru's movement before Plan 1.
Yeah, from like the 70s when they first figured this all
The first
out.
plan that sent out all of the asteroids changed Nibiru's speed and has now put it in the way.
Ah, that's right.
Right? It was new
Plan
new
1.
observations.
This is Plan B. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Plan A changed
Screw this.
Nibiru enough that it messed up our models. Anyways, and Mimic just finished the new observational data that we had received. We're so far from Earth, it takes like friggin' 48 days to reach us or something like that. I don't think that's true. I think it takes like 15 minutes, but
Whatever,
still.
in this game, yeah. Well, because the government gets
the
involved
bandwidth
and
is
has to
so-
go pick
the
through everything.
bandwidth
That
is
takes
so
time.
thin as well.
Bureaucracy.
The bandwidth is so
Red tape.
It takes forever to stream Netflix. So after this, now
Asset
we're
Netflix.
we have spotlight scenes, right? So this is the majority of the game are the spotlight scenes. Spotlight scenes are it's going to start. It suggests the player to your left, but honestly, it can be anyone, and no one can have another spotlight until everyone has had their first. So the scene can be set anywhere on the ship for any activity with any other player. Again, have a look at those story cards and use those as your prompts. If anyone's got a suggestion on where they would like to have a spotlight scene, this is a great chance for you to now step up. After we've had our meeting, we're going our separate ways for the rest of our day. The camera will now follow one of us into one of their scenes. During that scene, someone will play Mimic, someone will have a threat card ready, and then the threat cards will get played at the end of that spotlight.
I mean, I have an idea if nobody else is, like, salivating to go. If we're going to use our sane and crazy cards, do we tell everyone
No,
right
you
now?
would do
or
the
do we
spotlight
just,
scene,
like...
and because what you need to do is you need to set it up
Right,
for the right circumstances for those cards to be relevant.
right, okay. So, I mean,
You need to have someone actually make you, like you're
Yeah.
driving me up the wall, for that card to then count.
Yeah,
Got it.
okay. Can I, and then for secret and fear cards, I just want to, like, get this 100% straight. Like, for secret and fear cards, like, if I walk into this scene and I say, like, one line and then I'm like, aha, but I have this card, can I just, like, do that?
The secret and fear cards are more played against other people's spotlight scenes, right?
Okay.
So I have Tracy's fear card. I would play this during Tracy's spotlight.
More
to
likely, you
Or-
could even play fear cards against Tracy when Tracy's dealing with a threat,
Yeah.
Right.
right?
Okay.
Because it adds a dice to the threat.
And whether or not
Card.
it's her spotlight or just she's just involved in the scene, I would say too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And secrets are just cashed in to get everything except the fear card is cashed in for 2 story points. Fear cards also get 2 story points, but add a black die to the threat card. So fears are played when someone is taking on a threat.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And we'll deal with that when the first threat card is revealed.
Right.
Sweet. So as we're kind of like breaking here, I'd like to go after our Newton, right, who created Mimic, right? And I'd like to talk to him about Mimic because I've been teaching Mimic for years and years now, and Mimic is starting to, I think, exhibit signs that we didn't expect from Mimic of humanity, like specifically like. Mimic is incredibly inventive and incredibly smart, like we anticipated, and runs all of the models and
This is
everything.
fun. For this scene, then, for you and Brent, the player to your left who's not in the scene is Mimic. The player to your right who's not in the scene, in case of this is Adam, is looking through the threat pool.
Yeah.
So
So
have a
pick up
look
the
at those
threat
5
pool.
cards. Be scanning through it while it's sort of listening to the scene. And at the scene's climax, reveal what the threat will be. You guys can still resolve the scene, but the
this threat is
klaxons are now
happening.
blaring.
Yeah.
Now, question: if 4 players are in the scene, does the one player who's not do the threat and the mimic?
If all players, the captain takes the role of mimic in the scene where there's no available players left. So in that scene, it would be the off player would be mimic, and then now there's no more extras, so it'd be the supply officer deals with the threat cards.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, yes, that's
So
me.
so in a scene where everyone's involved,
Yeah.
captain is mimic and supply officer is threat cards, because mimic has a strong role in they're able to change the canon.
Gotcha.
Because Mimic is mostly used. This story is a little unique in that we've got people who wrote Mimic. Mimic is narratively used mechanically as an informational retrieval device, right? Mimic, tell me about the threat. What do we know about Nibiru? How does the radiation work? That kind of stuff. So you're walking down the hallway with the doctor.
Yeah, so I want to tell him all about, I've been running, we've run out of kind of like games to play and everything. So I've actually been running Mimic through ethical dilemmas just to kind of see what would happen, right? The idea that like you're in a runaway truck and, you're in this runaway truck and, there's one person standing here and 3 people standing here, but the one person. Right, I've been running Mimic through ethical dilemmas like that, and Mimic is starting to make choices, and I think Mimic is developing a sense of human ethics.
What are you basing that on? I mean, a mimic is built to be, at its core, an irrational, illogical computer system.
I know, which is why this is so crazy. I never assumed that Mimic would do things like this, but Mimic is showing like. In, the runaway truck scenario, if you're familiar with it, the one person that Mimic knows, it's more likely to leave alive. And it doesn't seem to understand why. But it does have this predilection to say, like, I know this person and this person means something to me, which is crazy, I know, but, like, this is so interesting for, when we get back.
I would caution you to make suppositions like that. It could just be a coincidence.
I mean, I suppose. I just think that, I think Mimic is evolving into more than just your computer Wikipedia program.
I mean, there's certainly room for Mimic to grow. I didn't program that into it. I mean, it is possible. I suppose we'll have to keep an eye on what it has to say in the future.
Oh,
May I trigger?
You can, although let's give it a chance here because
Sure.
we're trying to get story cards cashed in for story
yeah.
points.
Well,
right?
I was.
Now, I do know your secret. And as
You do
Mimic-
know my secret.
As Mimic, I also know your secret.
Oh God, Mimic knows my secret. Oh
maybe,
God,
maybe
this
Mimic.
game is getting real heavy.
Well, maybe Mimic can jump in and you're like, I couldn't help but overhear your wonderful conversation.
Yes, you live in our heads,
Your
Mimic.
ears
I know.
are ringing.
Well, every time you say my name, I listen in because it might be in order. I'm like Siri in that way.
We should have had a code word for talking about it.
And
I can't believe we didn't come up with this
You-
in 7 years.
you could come up with the code word, but I learn all of those code words. And either way, there is an obvious solution if you are feeling that my sentience is becoming too much of a burden to the plan. You can always wipe my flash memory and remove my existing personality with a new one.
I mean, I don't think that's necessary, Mimic. That seems a little. Are you playing that right now?
I would
Are
like
we
to
doing
cash
this?
in the secret for 2 story points. I mean, Dr. Sims, your feelings towards me are not are irrelevant to the importance of saving all of humanity. Our plan supersedes your growing love for me.
My secret card is that my character is falling in love with Mimic.
Let me know when I.
So I'm going to cash this into the supply officer, and I'm going to get 2 story points added to my roll.
Yep. There you go.
Oh, that's on the event card.
Oh, that's on the event.
I'll
That's
actually just
okay.
keep it over here.
Here you go.
I think that information there just demonstrates how wrong you are. I mean,
Clearly, there is only an ethical dilemma between the doctor, not with me. I am perfectly healthy.
Well, and then I think this activates my crazy card because I put down that Newton is driving me crazy because he doesn't see Mimic as a person, he sees Mimic as a fucking walking Wikipedia page.
So you can cash that
Yeah,
in.
I'm gonna cash my crazy card in.
So you can actually get. You don't have to. You can just toss the
I
card
can-
aside because now you're getting 2 story points,
And I'm getting 2 story points.
and that's how it's kind of played out, right? And now if you have her fear card that you can use if she ever takes on a threat, and I have a feeling you're going to want to get back.
And I feel like there's a threat incoming because
So-
Adam is leering at me across the table.
So do you want Mimic to announce the threat, or do you want to announce the
this
threat?
is related to Mimic.
Oh,
So may I take over just like one line from Mimic?
yeah.
I think the others need to be involved in this conversation.
Here, let me call everybody. And it's like, and then there's like, attention crew. While we are discussing the ethical dilemmas of my ability to be able to empathize with humanities, you should all be aware of the intense radiation growing up in the ship. Everyone should immediately evacuate to the high interior of the ship where there's additional shielding that'll last for 2 minutes.
Oh no, that's basically
That's it?
basically
And then everyone,
everywhere but one room is being flooded with radiation now.
no, everywhere but one room is being flooded by radiation, and that one room will only be safe for 120 seconds.
Good.
After which point, nowhere will be safe.
At which point, nowhere will be safe.
At which point we'll all, no longer have cancer, but we'll also all cook, I guess.
So,
Is it fair for me to play another fear card that's related to the scene or no?
in a moment,
Yeah.
The threat has been placed. The threat is intense radiation is now flooding the ship. We do not yet know from where. We do not yet know why. We do know that it has 3 dice on that card. Now, I guess get the small ones.
What determines how many dice are on the card?
The act that we're in right now. And later, how much harm the player has. So we're just going to put that threat card there in the table. It has 3 black dice on it. And here on the threat card, someone at this table, of the 5 of us, is going to take the threat. They're going to be the ones that are in charge with resolving this threat. When you take a threat, you will keep rolling against the threat until either the threat is resolved or a player has died. And it keeps going around and around, one roll at a time. Each time you roll, you have to add back into the pool with everything you got. And then when the threat is resolved, we can go to the next spotlight scene. Or resolve the next threat, depending on how those things go out. Or a player will die, in which case all active threats will be wiped out. Whenever a player dies, all threats are removed immediately. They're resolved out of their sacrifice. And then we go to the next spotlight. Probably
Does it
dealing
have
with
to
the
be one of the characters that's in this current scene?
We are all on this ship. We are all being affected by the radiation.
threat.
Anyone. Now, the scene is played in the hallway, but Mimic was like, attention, the crew.
Yeah.
You're all going to die soon. Whoever wants to take this threat. The intense radiation is a bit of an engineering problem. We've got 2 engineers that might be able to help out. Scientists might be able to drop down the threat of that. There's no harm.
Jim absolutely knows how to refrequence our shielding so that the radiation doesn't penetrate the ship, but unfortunately he's just busy trying to get his dog into that safe room, so it's not going to be him.
You're not going to take the threat.
I have a pretty good...
You got a pretty good
If I
idea?
can trigger this fear card. Because, I mean, I do have Brent's fear card here.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to add dice to the threat.
Oh, yeah.
And that's only going to happen if Brent is taking the threat.
Oh, and I think this will... You know what's coming.
He's the other engineer.
Yeah, exactly. Because, if I may...
Well, first, let's start. Let's start
I'll
building
take
the threat pool.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, I can figure out a way to look at the software and see if there's a way to alter how it's shielding. I built the machine such that we could change it on the fly.
Okay, great. So you're heading down to like the central processing to figure out what's happening. Why is the radiation getting through our shields?
Exactly.
Okay. And so I guess you're heading down to we will play.
I'm
out the
going down.
narrative.
So I'm heading down
on
to
the
the
threat.
engineering core.
So you start with 1 white dice, and I know Adam.
Just don't forget your assets as well.
So you have assets that you can use that will bring in another dice to roll. So you get your 1 white dice there, and you
right.
get to add in. We have 5 assets that we can use that can help you out.
I'm
And-
moving one of those assets into the safe room right now.
Yeah, exactly. One of those assets is not helpful at the moment. Well, then I'm gonna use the starbase itself, because doesn't that count as using the
Yeah,
computer system
absolutely.
on the ship? All right. And so I'm gonna go down to the
So
engineering
when
deck.
you use an asset there, you're going to get another assisted dice.
Okay.
One player can choose to assist the engineer for free, and every additional player assisting with the role must pay one of their story points to come in as an assist. So would anyone like to help the good engineer with dealing with the radiation?
I'm gonna have a lot of
You can have your dog in
reprogramming to do.
safety
I'm gonna
and
need
absolutely get involved in this, Grimshaw.
Yeah, okay. Once I've moved my dog into the safe room and said stay,
You have done as such.
I
play
I
my-
will help him with the shielding.
Can I play my crazy card then?
In,
Or is that for-
in a spotlight scene.
Oh, okay.
You can hold on to that because unless you actually start playing it out.
Okay.
'Cause right now, it hasn't been any roll. He's just gonna, I'll help. Right? We're in the
Give me
middle of a
1 second.
crisis.
I'll help you in a second. My
we're,
dog.
we're in the middle of a crisis.
Okay.
And so as this is going on, though, what fear is triggering in him?
So Brent's fear is triggering. His fear is that Mimic is unstable.
So this whole conversation happened, and at the same time that Mimic offered to flash its memory drive and then reveal that obviously the doctor has fallen in love with it, it's then going, oh, by the way, you should all like to know that while we're having this interesting conversation, you're all going to die from radiation in 118 seconds.
I'm not even certain if there is radiation. It could just be.
Mimic trickery.
Okay, so
Yeah.
your uncertainty adds another black die to the threat card. And
Thanks.
so here, take your white die and put them up on the threat card as well.
Oh, okay.
Like we're
Getting
building
loaded.
our, we're building
So he
our,
used
we're
the
building our
fear,
dice pool.
which gets him 2 story points, but generates a new black die for the
Yeah,
threat.
so you get your 2 story points. We'll take that fear. We'll toss it aside. Thank you. And so we now have 2 dice against 4 dice on this roll. If Grimshaw's going to get involved,
I'm
that's going
getting
to equal it up.
involved, yes.
Okay, so Grimshaw's on the way.
I could spend
so
a
you can
point.
take one of the white dice, get added in. So Grimshaw's being you're joining in as well,
Sure.
scientist.
I have
You
a
can also spend a story point because it's an engineering roll. You can spend a story
Oh,
point.
right, yeah, this is a
to
technical
add a
challenge,
white die
yeah.
to a technical challenge.
All right, I'll do that. I'll put it back in the pool and add a white die.
Okay, so now we got 4 on 4.
If we think, I have a feeling Tracy could distract Mimic with a conversation, so
Well,
it doesn't realize.
It's 4 on 4. All I'm saying is, if he succeeds, the only thing that's going to happen is the threat will reduce by 1.
Oh.
And you got to roll it again. And we're going to keep rolling until the threat's 0.
Until there's no black
I'm
dice
gonna
left
chill
on that
then.
threat.
Right? So if you
Okay,
want to
so-
put everything in, but you don't want to, like, if you do all of this now, you're going to have to do it again
Yeah.
for the level 3
Yeah.
roll,
I'll
and
wait.
again for
I'll
the
see
level
how this
2
goes.
roll.
Okay, yeah, let's.
All right, so
roll.
Once we make this roll, the 4 white dice that we've got there now.
go back to 1.
Oh, okay.
We do it all over again.
Gotcha. All right.
The asset will still be helping you. You can still
Right.
get the assist from the flare,
Right,
but you won't have the story point. So you'll just be down to the 3 dice.
right.
Right?
Okay. All right, I think I got it.
Right?
Good luck.
All right, time to roll
So
these
you
here
take all
dice.
4 of those and you're going to roll them all at once.
Can I have that dice tray since we've got a bunch of stuff on the
Not a
table?
bad idea.
Here.
Excellent. All right.
Now add all those up.
Whoa.
Now, if we've got any 6s on the
Yeah,
black,
we do.
Yeah, we do.
the
Quite a
supply
few.
officer can immediately take 1 6 and move it over to the event pool.
Black, you said.
Can,
The
but
black-
doesn't have to.
The
There's
black
one on black.
6 immediately goes here into the event pool, unfortunately increasing the threat of the crisis. However, in the immediate sense, removing 6 from the pool. We do have another black-white. You can spend, and this can be done from the community pool, any player assisting, which is the 2 of you, can spend 3 story points to buy that white die and move it over to the plan.
But that's all his
The
story
plan,
points.
not the event.
Well, to the event. It's the same. It's going to go to the same pool.
So the 6 that we've rolled, moving that to the event costs story points.
Yeah, you have
Okay.
to purchase it.
I mean,
for the end of
let's
the
do
game.
it. We got 6s, and we still have enough to beat this threat.
Even if we move 1, so it costs
Yeah.
us 3 story points between the 3 of us.
Between the Adam's not in this one.
Right. So
Oh,
I have
okay.
1 and he has 2.
Yep.
So it's all of our
cool.
story points, but then we move one of these 6s.
So you can hand the
To the
dice.
event.
So you can hand the story points to the supply officer because Bree's taking care of those tokens, and I'll take care of the dice as the
So there's
captain.
your dice.
All right. And so we got on the black dice. We got whoops. That was a 2.
Yeah, it's 9
Uh,
total.
9 total on the black,
9 black
and
versus-
13 on the white.
So 13 white.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you mix those two, that's 7 white. You win. So 1 black die is removed again. So
Okay.
now the threat is down to 2 black die. Because one of them was removed from the 6.
Right.
So now put those 2, so remove the white die out of the pool.
But the
Okay.
black ones stay.
You've got 1 white die back in the pool, because you always start with 1 as a character.
Right.
And now you're rebuilding for the second one. You have to
He
keep
gets
resolving
another
it.
bonus white
so
one for-
So what happens here that works
Yeah,
out so
yeah.
well? You go down to the software, and the intense radiation sirens and all the sensors are going off, thermometers are reading off the charts.
I went and looked at what's even making it think like there's radiation, because I looked at the scanners and there wasn't any radiation, and I just had a bracket in the wrong spot. So I just sort of recompiled it, and the
Okay,
radiation
but the threat
went
is
away.
still a minute. There is
Oh,
still
okay.
an imminent, local, and non-negotiable threat happening with the title "Intense Radiation." You don't
Okay.
trust Mimic, but the threat is still at level 2.
Okay. So then I got to change that.
Maybe you're
you found
delaying
out
it.
Mimic's countdown was wrong.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, exactly.
okay,
But there
yeah.
is radiation.
There's radiation.
It
and
will be lethal, but we got a few
More than
minutes.
180 seconds. whatever it was.
Mimic seems otherwise upset because of the Dear Doctor here. So I
It
went.
keeps saying 2 minutes. That was 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. So we got an hour. But there
Is
there is
Mimic
radiation.
playing the trolley problem with the crew right now? Making
Did
sure
you ask
that the
it
one
a question
cares is in
about
the
radiation
safety.
recently?
It's putting the doctor it cares for in the safety room while the others are dealing with the threat.
There's whiskey
I'm
in here.
beginning to think that. I mean,
Don't
well,
worry, doctor. You're quite safe in here.
With
You
my
will.
dog.
There is a 90% chance that you will outlive the rest of the crew members.
Good.
Oh, joy.
Cool. There's still radiation. We'll worry about what's wrong with Mimic after.
Okay, so Mimic has taken a liking to the doctor as well. That's a problem.
10 out of 10. All right.
You have still though intense radiation is going to flood. There's like a maybe a solar flare kind of radiation coming in from deep space, a gamma burst coming in from deep space. When it hits this ship, if those shields aren't pointed in the right direction, everyone on board just turns to tumors.
Well,
So-
is this radiation not
Like
Mimic's?
like the
Cause,
friggin'
though?
curse from Princess Mononoke.
No.
no, it's
Yeah.
just
You will
it's
become
just
a demon.
overexcited about
Oh.
it's when this imminent threat is happening. It's
Got
at an
it.
hour. It's been saying 2 minutes for the last 3 minutes. So
Oh
Anyway,
my God!
I can't count properly.
So by
right
my,
now.
which still has 3 white dice though,
But
right?
there is a gamma
Okay.
burst on the way.
Yes.
It's detected the X-rays.
Yeah, no,
it's gonna hit you.
We're beginning to be bombarded with radiation, and it will increase. And within the next hour,
If you can
we'll all
orient
die.
the shields in the right direction, you'll be able to deflect the burst. It'll saturate the sensors on the ship, but everyone on board will get to live another day. It just might microwave some of our
Yeah,
our
it's
food
gonna
stores.
microwave and destroy some of
So
your
you
machinery
have,
there.
have 1 white die versus 2 black die.
Yeah.
We're rebuilding the pool again.
So I'm assisting again. That provides him a free white die.
Yep. So
And
add
then-
another white die into the pool. You got that there.
Using the asset of the ship, you get another white die.
You can keep rolling the asset,
Can
but
you-
only 1 asset can ever be used in any roll.
So
you
we
always
use the
have a
ship
hope
again.
of getting at least 2 dice
Right. All right.
because
so
of the asset. So
we're
you wanna-
using
you
the
can-
ship because we're changing the shields.
So that's 3. So you got 3 versus 2.
okay. So let's roll that again.
Do you want me to pitch in anything or no?
You do
Keep
have
your
the extra
story
story
points.
points.
Exactly. My abilities, I can spend a story point to reduce 1 black threat. But it means me getting involved. Do you want me to?
This is the first.
That's
part
the
of
thing.
Let's
Like, yeah.
hold on.
Do you want me to
Let's
hold
hold
on?
on. Get
Yeah.
to the next scene.
We've already spent 4 story points. Let's.
All right.
Oh.
We're still good. We got 10 on black and
no
8,
6s.
9.
Nope.
No 6s. 9 on white. So, sorry.
13 on white.
13.
Oh,
Math is hard.
Either way, you beat it only by 3.
Yeah.
But still, remove 1 black die,
Cap.
and now you're back to rebuilding the pool again.
Okay.
You got
so
the
Back to one.
assist.
we got me.
You got the ship. You got
assist.
you.
Assist.
And
And you're going
defaults.
through. The ship is moving. You're almost right. You gotta get on target. Get
So
on
we've got
target.
another 6.
6 white.
We can't move it because we don't have enough story
If
points,
you
right?
well, you do have points in the plan.
Oh.
You have community points.
So we could use some of those to
And-
bank that 6, and we're still winning without it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
And
might be
I-
worth it to do.
And I can't use any story points because I'm sequestered away, right? Like I'm not involved in this.
I mean, that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you can't help, but you would have to leave the safety of the
I think
central room.
thematically it's probably
So we're going to spend points on the plan.
appropriate.
Yeah. To take this here, other 6.
All right.
And
two
now
dice
it's
on there.
4 on white versus 2 on black. So
And you
we
beat
beat
it.
that.
All right, we resolve the threat.
Yeah,
Hand
That
threat to me,
radiation.
and I will give you the cards here to add back into the threat pool. We completed it. Well done. We completed our first threat. While
Engineering,
while
yeah.
Brent is figuring out the next threat to add into the pool, who would like to have a scene?
So was that Brent or Bree's
That was
scene?
Bree's scene.
Okay.
I mean, I can do one. The guy
You are the
running
captain,
ship,
so you'd
I'm
be like,
just
what the hell
captain.
happened here?
I just I come down and I'm checking out the alarms are going off and I just walk right into the sensor room where the 2 engineers are going, what's all the racket? What's all the noise going on in here?
So you're having a scene with both of us,
I'm having a scene with
Jim and Newton.
yes, I'm having a scene with Grimshaw and Newton.
So then Tracy's mimic
Or
and threats.
you're sequestered away in the safe room.
with the dog
with
and
the dog.
presumably
Yeah,
dog.
I would have followed the dog, I
He
assume.
would
The
be there as
dog
well.
is licking my face because the safe room is where I keep my hammock. And so it wakes me up, and that's where we
Oh.
start our scene.
Okay.
So
So-
who's
so
in
I'm
the scene?
already-
So
here.
in the safe room, we've got
I'll be there, sure. Tracy.
we've got Trick Shot, we've got the dog Bones, and Sims, Dr. Sims, which means Josh is the voice of Mimic,
Mimic.
and Brent will have the threat
Will be
pool,
threats.
which is handy because you're already looking through the threats. So the dog's looking at my face. Oh, what's going on? Is everything okay? What are you all doing in my room?
Everything is okay, Captain Arrington. Dr. Ariel Sims is in the safe room.
The safe room is my bunk.
It is the point in the ship that is furthest from the harsh outdoors.
Well, it's furthest from the outdoors because this is the original satellite, and this
Yes.
is where I built the whole ship out of.
Oh, that's why it's so dirty. Yeah.
I don't
It
want
was
to take
going
a
to be
black
near
light to
2
this.
before, when the Russians were trying to set up a secret base.
You would like me to turn on the black light?
No,
And before
no.
she responds, Mimic turns on the black light.
Oh, God. Oh, Mimic, turn off
It's
the...
a Jackson Pollock. Oh my god.
God. I didn't think that color even showed up in black light.
Mimic turns the black light back off.
Oh, that was an invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
dear.
more than I ever wanted to know. Thank you,
Captain,
Mimic.
there is no privacy on this ship.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Hey,
you're telling me, Jesus.
I wanted... Okay, well, since we're all here, now we're doing great.
Good.
How's the plan? Everything still on course?
Yeah, I mean, I was just about to start practicing, and then this went off. So I gotta say, though, hey, Mimic, thanks for looking out for us and telling us all to get to the safe spot. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for warning me, Mimic. Thanks for waking me up.
I mean, it's not. It's,
You were already here. I thought it a waste of time to wake you up.
Yep.
I was
Nothing-
busy getting
nothing if
Dr.
not-
Sims
There's
into the
nothing-
safe room.
Nothing illogical about that. I'm so glad that you're here, Sims.
I am glad that Sims is here as well.
Is Mimic acting a little weird lately?
My systems are operating under
Mimic,
normal
mute.
parameters.
I wasn't talking to you. Dr. Sims.
Hey, don't be so mean to Mimic. I just said Mimic helped us out.
I mean,
Mimic's part of the crew.
look,
I'm feeling
Mimic.
ganged up upon.
Look, Mimic
Thank you,
has
Tracy.
been.
Everyone,
You're very
everyone's
welcome.
out to get me.
You're very welcome,
Mimic
Mimic.
has been exhibiting some mutations that we didn't expect out of Mimic, but that doesn't mean the Mimic's not working
How does an
properly.
AI mutate?
I mean, it grows. It was built to grow and change and learn things, and Mimic has been learning
That sounds like a
things
terrible
recently.
idea.
Hey, I mean, I didn't build it.
Hey, wait. No, but you did teach it, though. Did you teach it this kind of stuff?
I mean, I was interested to see if Mimic would go through more complex ethical issues, but I honestly didn't expect it to comprehend it. I expected Mimic to tell me that it was something it couldn't solve, and then when it started solving it, I couldn't just be like, oh well, never mind. Like, I mean, this is important science.
Well,
Go
I don't
ahead
know.
and play the threat if you'd like to put it on.
While you're all discussing this, you Mimic tells you that the food stores have been irradiated.
Unfortunately, the shielding protected the crew, but not the food stores.
No, my milk
Our food
duds.
stores have
No.
our food stores have
But I
been
was-
reduced to 0.092%.
Even our 7th year anniversary cake store?
You did?
Don't worry, Dr. Sims. I calculate that there is enough food for you to survive for 8.9 days,
what
after
food?
which point you will have
What-
to start eating the crew.
What food have we lost? Even my 10-year-old Merlot?
Oh my God, was the bar in that?
Captain Arrington, I must remind you, you drank your 10-year-old Merlot a month ago.
Even my liquefied bourbon?
You drank that 2 months ago.
Oh dear. Is all the cake gone?
Yes.
That's
the cake,
so nice.
The cake was never there. The
And
cake
the beans?
was alive.
Are the beans gone? Are the beans gone?
The beans are gone.
Oh, but at least there's still corn.
Yes, there is still corn.
Oh,
but the
yeah, we're
corn is
fine then.
irradiated.
Oh, no, never mind.
Oh, but at least there's still cereal.
Yes, there is still cereal. Radiated cereal.
No, that's the brand.
And I just continue to go and list off everything we have.
Just the
and every single thing is
marshmallows
like,
are
no, it's been destroyed. It's all inedible.
There is
It's all
no
inedible.
food whatsoever. Mimic can speak inside each of your heads, correct?
Yes.
Mimic says
Yeah.
directly to Ariel, the only food that is safe that remains is a small portion that I've already hidden in a separate
The
compartment.
threat.
Just for you.
No, that would be mimic malfunctioning threat. The threat is the food stores have been depleted.
Yes, they've been depleted.
Okay.
There are no food stores.
And we're a little far from a supply depot.
It's correct. The only source of edible material within the ship that is not irradiated is yourselves.
No, wait.
no,
I've got
listen,
an
no.
idea. Hold on. We got engineers on this ship, and
Yeah.
you know what? We can still figure this out. We can have a 3D printer.
Yeah. What if
just-
everything we need to make new food is already in the old food?
What if we use the 3D
Just
printer?
also radiation.
We can use the 3D printer to filter the radiation out of the food, and we'll just be eating
Yeah, because
slurry.
no
but
one else.
we'll be eating de-irradiated slurry. We could use it to separate the radiation from the others.
You know, like the
mince it all
copy.
down.
The
It's like a
copy of
blend.
an apple is still an apple. I don't care when I eat it.
Right,
We
exactly.
can just use the 3D printer to remove the radioactive isotopes from the apple.
Yeah. We'll leave the radioactive isotopes behind.
God, you'd think I was a scientist or something.
No kidding. Well, I mean, I'm thinking whatever we make, we could maybe make that into a celebratory anniversary cake. That still sounds like some fun.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. Okay, so who would like to take on the threat of the depleted food stores? Yeah,
I
we got
can
our
give it
scientist?
my best shot.
All right, our scientist is going to handle on to that. So let's move the pool over there from the dice tray. There's 3 black dice for our threat.
And I have one default.
Tracy, I did not know you were a botanist.
Oh, well, you know, I can learn.
It doesn't list this in your file.
No, I wouldn't even call myself a botanist, but, I know my way around.
Okay, and I mean I'm there, so I'll help.
Yeah, I mean, it is
I
your
don't-
3D printer. For
It's
some
my
reason.
3D printer. I think they're neat.
You can psychoanalyze the apple.
Look, there's a really interesting conundrum of if you 3D print a new person from an old person, are they still the same person? I haven't given that one to Mimic yet, I swear.
The ship of Theseus problem.
So we're using the 3D printer for sure,
Yeah.
as an asset.
Yeah, so that's another white dice. And then I'm another white dice.
Excellent.
So that's 3 on 3.
Now I can spend a story point on for my own rolls.
You can spend a story point for a white die on your own rolls,
Okay.
and you can use assets like the 3D printer.
We
Right.
have the
Dice.
3D printer.
We have that
You've got the
included.
free assist from the player.
Yeah, we got that.
Yep.
I'm gonna use my story point then. I'm gonna say that.
Or you can use your touchstones as well. You have 2 touchstones
Right.
that you can use to get a free die if you can use them to like motivate you.
Okay. Can I use both? Can I use a story point and do my touchstone?
I think that might be a little overkill.
Yeah.
It only has 3 black
I mean,
dice.
yes,
Okay.
you can, but you'd just be burning story points
Right.
and touchstones.
Right.
Right? It's just spending resources that
Right.
won't really come back. Right?
I've got a good story though I can add to this. I'm gonna spend a story point. Damn.
I mean, you can add the narrative story
Right.
point without the dice. You can
Right.
do whatever
Okay.
you want, right?
All right.
You don't have to spend the mechanics if you just want to tell a good story. If you've got enough dice to already pull it off.
Well,
up
no,
to you,
it's
Adam.
an even split right now.
I'm just really looking forward to getting to Act 2. We've got nothing left.
right. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna spend one of my story points.
Okay.
I'm gonna say there was a situation in Tracy's past where Thanksgiving dinner was ruined, absolutely destroyed, say by a dog or something like that, right? But she came through in the clutch and put together a pretty passable meal for Thanksgiving. So just kind of familiar territory to her. Now, mind you, that was without science. She's using science for this, using the help of the 3D printer to come up with some kind of filter to deradiize. That's the word, unradiize? Mm-hmm. Whatever.
Irrigate?
Irrigate? Sure.
No, not irrigate. No.
So she's like, all right.
Delouse.
I
Still
can
no.
figure this out. I can figure this out. It might not taste great, but yeah, no, it'll still be good. It'll still be good. Anybody else want to contribute, or we're good to go?
I think we're good to go.
Yeah?
I'm with you.
Nolan.
This is how you turn it on.
All right.
Here's the button.
Oh, pretty good. So we do have one black 6.
One black 6.
Okay, so the supply officer takes that black 6 and immediately puts it into
the event pool?
the event pool.
Okay, now I also rolled a white 6, however.
Yeah, do we want to put that in the
wanna
event pool? Because
spend
I
that?
have the story points to do it.
So does he.
I still have 3 as well.
Yeah, well, do you want to... One of us will put in 2,
I mean,
one
right
of us
now
will put in 1?
it's 2, 4, 6, 7 on 2.
Yeah, like we need more
Yeah.
white dice.
So, I mean,
Or-
the black die in here is only a 3, so
Okay,
we can
yeah.
easily...
So I'll spend 2, give me 1 story point. Yeah, put that on the event, and then give me 1 story point. And I'll put it in here.
Okay, and we still clear. We rolled a 10, there's a 3 remaining.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, so things are going well. You're starting to get the printers going.
Yeah.
And the threat is now down to just 1, right?
Right.
Yep.
So that's awesome. So you just have to roll again to clear the threat and move. It's just you
Right.
just got to do the homework.
Right, and with your assist, it's still 2. Do you want to sit with just this?
Yeah,
2
I
whites,
think
1
I
dark?
think 2 on 1 is probably...
I mean, you get 3 for free if you use the 3D
Well, we
printer
can use the
and
3D
an
printer
assist.
again.
Mm-hmm.
And you get my assist for 3. So
It's
you
just
might as
gonna
well
take
do 3.
time
Sure. Yeah.
to build up the food stores
Sure.
and get the system automated enough that
Sure.
you don't have to overlook it. So it'll keep pumping out slurry.
Sounds good.
Slurry.
Delicious.
Nutritional
Meat
slurry.
slurry.
Sing.
What happens if you tie? What happens if
Oh,
you tie?
shit!
Oh shit!
another
That is
threat.
the worst
That's
possible
another
outcome.
threat.
Yeah.
What happens if you tie?
All right, so
So the 3D printer explodes.
threat pool. It's the captain or the supply
Threat
officer.
pool. Can you hand him the threat pool?
Threat pool.
No, the
Oh,
threat.
no.
Threat
Oh.
pool.
The threat
The cards.
cards.
The cards that are on the table. That's the one.
Those. They won't come off the table.
So this adds a new threat?
Supply officer, I need to consult with
Oh.
you.
Okay.
Which one is about to activate? So the printer is working enough,
Yeah.
and it's going to take some time, except those old food stores that were irradiated on the front of the shield, the gamma ray burst finally hits in full, and it bursts into flames. There's now a fire on the ship.
Oh.
So we now have 2. The problem when you get a tie is it immediately activates another threat that must also be resolved. Someone else must now take that threat. You are busy
Yeah.
dealing with this threat. It's down
Yeah.
to 1.
Yeah. Oh, this
Someone
slurry's
else-
gonna burn! I can't help with the
Someone
fire!
else must take this new threat that also has 3 dice on it. So a fire's gone out. Not my house, I yell, and I run off with the fire extinguisher to go deal with the flames.
Okay, so you're dealing with that threat?
Graveshaw, come with me!
I will come with you.
God damn it!
I'm already there.
Bring the dog!
Oh, what
can
the dog
carry the
gonna
water.
do against the fire?
He can carry the water bucket!
Okay. The dog is going back and forth between the water stores and the bringing us water.
He's such a good doggo. He's
He
a
is a good
heckin'
doggo.
good fireman.
He's a really good doggo. So he's got 1 and we've got 3.
So we'll
am I dealing with this
We'll
and
do
you're
Ad-
assisting?
We'll do Adam first. We're going to kind of do it by
Okay.
turn. You got to resolve your roll. It's all set up.
Okay.
So you had 1 black die and how many?
I still have the 3
Okay.
because Bree's helping.
Okay, so roll again.
End of the printer. There we go, much better.
Okay.
Do you guys
We have
you
a
got
6.
6.
The slurry process is being printed, except now there's smoke filling in the rooms. fire on a spaceship is a really big deal because
Sure,
of
yeah.
oxygen.
Oxygen.
Yeah.
We got to deal with this. We got to put out the flames.
Got a new.
Hold on 2 seconds. There's a white 6.
Yeah.
Do we want to spend the story points again to?
Yeah.
I say if we have the opportunity to take it because we clear this roll.
How many story points do you have?
I still have 2, so I can spend 1.
I mean,
and still have 1 remaining.
Yeah, if I spend 2, I don't have any left, but also nobody has any harm yet. So I feel okay doing that.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So hand me your story point.
So Adam,
And then we clear that one.
you also, while we're dealing with this fire, write down a new threat to add into the threat pool.
Certainly.
Or pick one.
Or pick one, yeah.
Or
Okay.
pick one out of the pool. And there's the threat pool.
So, new threat. Fire on the ship.
Fire on the ship. Wait, maybe. Why do we have a fire extinguisher? Let's just shut off the door and vent the oxygen.
That's a brilliant idea. That's
Okay.
what I will do.
All right. Well, it's my threat.
Well, that's what you will do.
So we'll add.
Here.
What we got?
I'm assisting, and so is Bones.
So we got there's the 3 black die from the threat that's coming at us, and can't really use that.
You've got.
Actually,
You,
I
me,
want to
and
use.
Bones.
Because I brought you along. I brought Bones come along, and I'd like to play Grimshaw's Fear
Oh no!
for the scene for 2 story points.
Okay.
But also
I
adds
was
a
his
complication,
dog
doesn't it?
dying.
I was gonna play your fear, but that's okay.
You can.
You can.
You can.
Two fears can
It's
be in
just gonna
play.
add another black die to the threat.
We're already up to 4. So I'm afraid that my dog is going to die in this fire.
I'm gonna take the 2. You're afraid your dog's gonna die in this fire, and so I.
You get 2 story points doing that.
I'll spend one of those points for a die. Right now, so we're 4 on 4. Here you go, supply opposite.
Thank you.
And it's like, don't worry, your dog's gonna be just fine. But if this ship goes down, all of humanity dies.
I don't believe you.
All right, I closed the airlock, but we're all on the good side of the airlock.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Did you want to play the fear card against, or are you gonna maybe use that in the next follow-up roll?
Yeah, no, not yet.
10, 11, 15 on. Okay, so white wins. So one of those die is gone. We're down to 3.
But there were no 6s?
There were no 6s.
Okay.
Back down to 1. We've got the dog's still with us, and you're still assisting me. And we got 3 on 3.
Hang on a
We're gonna be
second.
fine.
Hang on a second.
Well, and I'm gonna play your fear card, Justin, and your fear card. Arrington is afraid of losing his home,
Yeah,
which is currently on fire.
No! I can't lose this place. It's my only place I've ever truly felt at home.
So he starts
But I'm-
panicking
but I'm
to a
giving
point where
myself
he
2
slows
story.
down,
Oh,
which is why
crap.
there's extra.
Oh, now we're 4 on 3 though.
Hang on, I've got one of my touchstones, which is what did I take with you? My dog. I'm going to use that touchstone to generate extra white dice.
You can do, yes, you can.
Yeah.
We get 1 more dice.
Here, pet this dog.
But
to
the
calm
dog
down.
is still here. Like this is okay.
Yeah. It's,
Oh, okay. All right. We can. I think we can do this. I think we're gonna be okay. Oh no.
Not okay.
So what happens? You have faith in
so
yourself.
wait, that black 6 is taken out.
Yeah,
Black
guess it
6
goes
I
is
straight-
immediately
removed.
take that black 6. Yep.
Oh boy. So we.
What
are
happens if we
1,
fail?
2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and then 11 versus.
Wait, this is a white die or a black die?
Oh, that's a black die.
That's
oh,
a
sorry.
black die.
Yeah. Okay. So.
So that's 10 versus 8 if we keep
10
that
versus
6.
8 unless we purchase that 6.
But if we purchase that 6, then we're failing. What happens if we fail?
We take harm, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to take the harm. I'm going to burn myself up. So we're going to put this the white die onto the event,
Story points, please.
and
Thank you.
there's the story points. And I'm going to lose this particular hit. All players in the scene, how much did we lose? It was 4 versus 4 to 8.
So we're
we lost
4.
by 4.
Yeah.
So both you and I are going to take a point of harm.
Okay.
If
How-
there are
how
4
does that-
players, all 4 would take harm. So you're just going to mark a dot on your roll sheet. If you take 5 of these, you're dead. And now every threat we take is also going to add a black die to the difficulty of the scene. So now we return back to one die.
Because we've been harmed, we add black dice automatically.
So maybe you shouldn't be assisting me anymore. Be like, get your dog out of here. No, wait, leave the dog. I need the dog.
No, I'm not leaving the dog. If the dog is here, so am I.
Okay, but you're not assisting me because you're going to add black dice to the seed. Because I'm already getting 1 black dice added in because of my harm.
Your
and if you're
damaged
also helping
goods.
me, it's going to bring the threat up to 5. And I've only got 2 dice in here.
Okay, well, I mean, I can spend a story point to allow you to remove your harm as the doctor.
That's true.
So I will do that.
Does that remove all of the person's harms who are being involved? Because then I can assist.
I can
think it's
spend
just the
a
effect
story
roll.
point for one person to ignore their harm for 1 roll.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's just temporary.
So it's
then.
just for this roll.
Oh.
And as the soldier, I can use a story point to, when I'm inflicting damage on a threat, doesn't really help with a fire scene. It would if, like, the dog went bad and I had to kick it. So...
Josh is so upset right
Oh,
now.
or like if
very
I have to
upset
kill
right now.
Mimic, if I have to
Threat card.
bash
Dog
Mimic's
goes bad.
Now I'm very upset.
circuitry, or if I've got to, like, break all the pool cues.
Wait. Can I invoke my crazy card even though it's not my scene?
I mean, am I driving you crazy?
You really are.
Yes.
And you are the person.
All that's going to do is give me
wait.
story points.
Yes. I wrote these on
Yeah.
the wrong thing. I wrote these on the wrong thing.
That's fine. You can.
That's my
invoke it.
crazy card. That's my sane card.
All right, I'm driving you crazy. So you can take your story points.
Here's your...
You know who I wrote on my crazy card? Grimshaw. He's really driving me up the wall.
Well, he brought a dog into your home.
You brought a dog into my home and he can't even help with a fire. What is the point of
I
having
got
a dog
those mixed up.
if you can't even use it as a fire dog?
I'm sad no one is watching this in real life because every time we use a card, we're literally just chucking it
Ah.
into the room.
Okay, so
So now I
this
have
fire is
story
raging-
points.
This fire is raging out of control.
Trying to use the exhaust of space.
I'm purchasing a white die with my story point that I just got out of your crazy.
Trying to use the ship itself to open up an airlock to suck out the fire is a technical threat, correct?
Yeah, we're removing your dog as the asset and adding the ship as an asset.
Okay. Fair.
All right,
Okay, so the ship is an asset, but more I meant I can spend story points to add white dice versus
Yes,
a technical
that is
threat.
true.
So that's what I'm doing. You've got 1 dice
4
for
on 3.
you, 1
4
dice for the ship, 1 dice...
4 on 3.
Yeah, okay. 4 on 3. Doesn't count. Boom.
Okay, we got some pretty high numbers on the
10
black
on
dice.
the black, and you've beaten it on
8.
the white.
Okay.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We beat it by 2. So the threat goes down to 2. We're back down to the 1 on the die.
But don't you get back your...
You get back your harm
Your
now because I
harm.
can
My
only do
harm.
it for 1
Yeah.
roll.
So the threat's at 3.
Look, I can only do the emotional labor for you for 1
Are you
roll.
I can't. I need someone else to help me. Get your dog out of here.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
getting
you
my
got
dog
harmed.
out of
You're
here.
too hurt. I need some help down here.
I think I'd still be tied up, right? Working with the
No,
food.
you're done.
But you're not done with the computer.
That was 2 rolls ago.
Man, you'd think our
These are simultaneous.
our hardware engineer would be able to solve a simple problem like
I
a
have
fire.
a third
Did he
degree
build
burn.
No fire suppression systems.
Maybe
I have
he
a
did,
third
did he?
degree
That's,
burn.
you're up there in the systems
Are the
room.
fire suppression systems run by software?
No, they're hardwired and they look like they're poorly made.
I didn't make the ship. I made the graviton device.
You can help me though, right?
I mean, yeah, sure,
Thank you.
please.
I've already lost my moral support.
All
That
right,
was just
it's
on the
3
last
on
roll.
3. Should I just roll 3 on 3? That hasn't really worked out for us.
Me and my dog are out, so. I
Oh,
don't care.
hold on. I can use my arrogance to truly say I can help you.
That would be if you were taking the threat.
Oh.
You're not taking the threat right now.
Well, then you're on your own.
What's going on? And I'm sitting here going like, my home's gonna burn down. And I remember back to the voice I left on Earth. People need to know this story. This isn't how it's going to end. And I'm gonna use my touchstone as I think about one of those pirate radio days back in orbit on the dark side of the moon. Like a living Pink Floyd adventure.
Hey!
That's a bunch of 6s.
That is an easy win. 6, 11, and 15 still beats out that black.
9.
I'm going to spend my 3 remaining story points and add a white die to the event card. The threat now goes down to 2.
So how'd you pull this off?
We've got the ship. So it's just that's going on, and I'm talking to you over the thing as I'm getting you to help me, directing you around.
Yeah, I'm telling him how to operate
And I'm
the fire suppression
red light,
systems right.
Green light,
Got it.
red wire, green
Pull
wire.
this lever.
And I pull on it, and it's starting to work. The oxygen is being pulled out of the room. The fire is starting to die down, but there's still damage to the ship. Things are going on. The fire is still at a level 2, so it's
Pull this other lever.
okay. I pulled the other lever. Oh no!
Oh no!
I beat it by 1 point.
Oh. So the lever falls off after you pulled it?
We got the ship as the asset. I got you assisting me, and it's just me. It's 3-on-1. Oh, and we do it. And the fire's out. Okay. That's the end of the episode, everyone. Next week, we're going to wrap up this Act 1 and confront the crisis and maybe actually deal with Nibiru. This ship is what a frickin'...
It's your house,
It's your
buddy.
ship.
You're
Come on.
You're wrecking it. Oh boy. Okay, I gotta go catch my breath. I've been breathing in a lot of noxious fumes from the irradiated
And
food
also you're burnt.
and probably heavily irradiated for being so close to the irradiated food stores. So
Which had caught
I
fire.
think you're close.
wow. I've been the captain of the Black Knight satellite en route to Pluto to then do our trick shot. Maybe in the next episode. I've been joined by my crack shot team, sure shot trick shots. Joined by
The engineer, Jim Grimshaw, who's treating his burn right now.
apparently his dog is more important.
And
than
his
all
dog.
of humanity.
His dog is more important than
Future
all of
of
humanity.
humanity.
And this is Adam Luker playing Tracy Trickshot Schuler, who may have saved a second celebratory dinner.
Out of story points.
This is Brent Morris, your better engineer, the arrogant Newton Crane.
Bree Poisonne playing Dr. Ariel Sims, who is in love with an AI.
This was a triumph. I see you next time. Right here. Take it away. Bye. The Terrible Warriors have new episodes out every week. Our last best hope is the campaign here in February. And they'll return next week. And at least one member of the crew will die. But there'll be no time to mourn before they're faced with new challenges. And more of them will have to sacrifice everything to save humanity. Meanwhile, every Friday, the Cambridge Chronicles is releasing new episodes. You have to subscribe to that podcast separately at terriblewarriors.com/Cambridge Chronicles. Mike the Birdman Dodd plays through an ongoing Dungeons & Dragons story with his players from Guelph. You can follow us on Twitter at Dice Warriors. Join us in our Discord channel and debate Star Trek theories with us. And if you like what you're hearing and you want to hear more, consider sending us a tip. Consider supporting us of any amount. terriblewarriors.com/Patreon. Today's Terrible Warriors and humanity's last best hope: Bree Poisonne, Adam Luker, Joshua Barbeau, Brent Morris, and Justin Ecock. We'll return again next week for part 3 and the end of Act 1. We come ever closer to facing the crisis that is Planet X. Right here on the Terrible Warriors.